I'm Miriam Joy and welcome to my studio. Today we're working on the Gourd Circle Christmas ornaments, and we're going to be doing different videos on showing you different ones, but we're starting out with the basics to show you what we're starting with. And we're going to take our circular saw and cut our pieces out of our gourd and then sand them down nice and flat on the back as well as we can. And what we decided to do, since a lot of you have a harder time making these, we've also done kits for you that are going to be available on my site. We're going to have a blue kit, and then we're also going to have a black kit for you as well. And what I used was leather pieces, leather strip, and leather backing, just so you can have a nice, crisp, clean ornament. And I'll explain the different materials as we're doing it as well, so if you have them at home that you can use your own. So let's get started. This is our holly twice melted Christmas wreath, and this is a really fun one. Another thing I would do is a bell. I think a bell would be really cute there as well. We're going to be working on our 2.5-inch gourd shard, and we're going to be using the MJ stipple brushes. If this is your first time seeing these videos, jump over to miriamjoy.com and click on the YouTube link, and the first video that'll pop will be how to do the wax technique, and it'll show you different tools that we use in the melting pot so that you can see how the process is done. So I've already got my red one warming up. I keep one per color on the stipple brushes instead of trying to do different or changing them out, because they're just so messy, and they're inexpensive enough that you can get one per color. So we're going to use red first, and I'm going to warm this up just a tad, and I'm using a heat gun to warm it up, and I have my heat gun on a plant hanger. You could use whatever type of hanger. If you have some for your tools or Dremel or something like that, you can use those. The reason we're heating it up is because it makes the wax apply across more evenly. We're just going to take this, and this brush could be melted a little bit more. It's not quite real pliable yet, but you can see it's going on more evenly. You can turn it into a jewelry piece, and I do have YouTube's showing you how to do that with the twice melted jewelry. Now we're going to heat it. We're going to start around the outside first, and those are also a really good video to watch to go into depth on this process just a little bit more. We want to get it nice and smooth. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to take a fan and I'm going to cool it off just a little bit instead of huffing and puffing on here. And while that's cooling, for our next little thing, we're going to use our rake brush. And that's going to give us our lines and everything on that. So just an inexpensive rake brush. You don't want to buy the expensive ones with the really fine brush parts. Now I'm going to take a metallic gold, and I'm going to warm it up just a tad, and what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of line through it. And I'm not worried about any solid color. We'll break it up just a little bit, and we're going to heat it again, and we'll kind of blend it out. If you want it more movement into it, just move it around a little bit, but I want to keep it pretty straight this time. Okay, that's where I want it. And if you wanted different things, you could pull your tool through it once you warmed it up, and all kinds of fun things. Now we're going to be using our, I'm going to try my 0 tool, and I'm going to be using the larger end, and we're going to make our holly here. And I'm just using green to start with. And I'm going to start with my middle one, and I'm just going to pull it down, and I kind of meet in the middle, and then I do 1, 2 out, and then back down. And you could even switch it around and use the smaller end to make a smaller holly. That would be fine too. So we've got our middle one right down the middle. So on this one, trying to hold it where you can see it. I'm going to bring that first one out. One there, second one, and bring that back in. And if you only get one there and meet it, that's fine. Don't worry about it. One can have 2 things on it. One can have 3. That's okay. This one I'm going to just do kind of one down and one back. So it's a little bit smaller. And that looks just as fine as the other one. So I'm going to switch over to my yellow-green now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to run right down the middle. And actually this is the glitter one. And I meant to add some tinsel glitter to my background when I was putting in my red, and I forgot, but that would be really fun too. The glitter adds so much to those. And we're just putting in our little veins. And you can put in one to match with those, or just put them in however you think they fit. There is no right or wrong. All right. I'm going to grab my white stipple brush. I had him melting here, so we'll let him melt a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to put my big red dots on, and for that, I'm going to be using my number 2 Miriam Joy tool. And I'm going to get these in, and sometimes if you want them just a little bit bigger, just circle that just a tad. Just to make your dots bigger. Okay. And I'm going to pounce my brush off. I'm using white, and we're just going to put, just to give it that Christmas sparkle, just a little bit of white. Gives it that holiday spirit, I guess is what we want to call it. Now you could either take some white paint. I got one on there which is perfect. Get those berries just a little bit so they have a little bit of sparkle. And that is how we do our holly twice melted Christmas ornament. So let's come on back and get ready to finish him up. Now that our wax is cool, we're going to take our hobby knife and we're going to take off any wax on the sides. Remove all of that. Now it's going to be stained, so you're still going to be some color, so don't worry about that. We just want the wax off. Hopefully if you did it right, you shouldn't have a bunch of wax on there. Remember, if you don't like what you have and you melted it, just wipe it off and start all over. We're going to apply our Dimensional Magic. You can use a 3D lacquer on this, but I like the Mod Podge Dimensional Magic. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit more durable over time. I like the 3D lacquer more for the Christmas bulbs. I think it's a little bit thinner. The first thing I want to do that most of you might not know is kind of a trick that I have used for a long time. I take my brush and I wet it. And then I dry it out. There's a couple of reasons that we do that. Now it's more pliable. It's not hard and stiff. But not only that, is the Mod Podge doesn't have to absorb all the way in now, and it just works better. So I do that with a lot of things when I'm doing certain things. So it may be something to help you remember. Now, Mod Podge is made to go on jewelry and be nice and thick, and our gourds are always uneven, so we've got to apply it on with a brush, not just put it on and leave it. So the first thing I do is go around the edges, and I take my brush and I throw it at you, and we're going to get it up against the edges. Now you're not really pushing down, you're just spreading with your brush. Doing that nice and even all the way around. And wipe off anything that gets onto the edges. You want to keep those nice and clear. And then we're going to come back and we're going to pour more of that. Now if we did it like you normally would and just fill it in, it would run off. I think I need just a tad bit more. So what we're actually doing with our brush, and you want a brush that is not coarse, you're just kind of moving it around and applying it more evenly to the piece. You shouldn't be able to see your brush strokes. If you can see your brush strokes, you don't have it on thick enough, and you do not want to over apply it. Once you put it on, you should just be able to see them kind of settle down. And I'd like to do 2 to 3 coats, and I'm going to set it on my dry board to dry. We do have dry boards in stock now. Clean off my Dimensional Magic and put that away. Once your Dimensional Magic is dry, you're going to see this really beautiful shine. See how it go from dull to shine? It just really brings out the color and just really does so much for it. And the Dimensional Magic is really great to work with, and we do sell that on our website. So now that we've done our Dimensional Magic, we're going to come in here and we're going to paint our edges with black acrylic paint. Black is a great background color. It helps take things backwards that you don't want to show and sets the front forward. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to do the edges because I'm going to put my leather piece on. Now, if you don't have a leather piece, you can just paint this black. That's okay. Whatever you want to do. And the other thing I do is once you've got that black on there, just come back in and with a damp paper towel, we're going to remove the black just along the edges where it doesn't belong. If you got any up there, like I always do. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. And once that's dry, keep your fingerprints and everything off of this and your glue. That's kind of fun. We're going to decide. I'm going to come back in and get that all off in a minute here. Which way to hang this. And I'm going to kind of hang it like that because it almost looks like a Christmas tree right there. So I'm going to put my leather piece around my gourd first, and I'm using my big bottle of tacky glue that my husband got for me. I need to get my little teeny tiny ones that we have for sale on our website. I don't know where mine is right now, but they're little tiny handy sizes and they're really, really nice. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and put our leather strip on. Now, you want to put that on nice and tight all the way around. And then we're going to bring it up to the top. And I don't want those overlapping, but I do want them right where I'm going to push my hole. And you want the front of this just even with your gourd piece. You don't want it set back. Now your gourd isn't even, so you want this towards the front, not towards the back. So it's all nice and even on the front. And I'm going to take my little scissors here and I'm going to cut this right where they touch. You don't want to leave a hole there. Alright, and then I'm going to take my bead reamer and I'm going to go right in the middle of there. And the bead reamer is another item that we started carrying at Miriam Joy because I've been working with it so much. And I'm going to take my screw eye, smallest one I could find, and I'm going to add just a tad of tacky glue to it. Now the reason that we put the leather strap on first, the leather strip, instead of last, is it gives us a little bit more stability for our screw eye here. Gives it more to hold on to. Screw that in. Now when I poked my hole, I only poked it just so I could get it started, only about halfway down. We don't want it to go too far. And when you're tightening it, you don't want to strip it. You want to go to a certain place and kind of stop. And you guys, if you've seen the jewelry ones, I will also put the sequin pins in place right there to hold that leather piece in place. Now again, I'm going to come in here and clean up the mess I've made. And you can let it dry in between too. You don't have to do it like I did, because I'm just trying to get you all the way down here. But not really pretty. Just can't believe that they're crayons. That's so much fun. Alright, now we're going to take our cording or whatever you want to hang it on, and we're going to go through our screw eye, and we're going to do one knot up here. And you can add bows to these. I have some little holly that I might want to put on my holly one. Little bows, whatever you wanted to do to make it nice and fun would be really, really pretty as well. So that's how we kind of finish them off. Now let's go back and let's get our back piece on if you want it. Now, one of the nice things is this is kind of fuzzy, and I like this, and I think it looks really nice, and I think it would feel good for jewelry, but it gets a little bit dirty faster. And also, if you did it where the other part, you can write on it. And I wrote on one of them, and I put like Merry Christmas, Miriam Joy 2013. So that's something you might want to think about too, which side of the leather piece that you may want to use. And I really like the leather instead of material because it is a little bit stretchy. So if I'm shorter on one area, I can pull it out and put it in. And to get the circle, I just take it on my leather and I take my white charcoal pencil and just trace around my piece and then cut on the white inside. If any of it sticks out, just take your little scissors and trim it off. But then you have a very professional looking piece, very nice piece that you can give to other people for Christmas, and that looks very professionally done. Now see how the glue got into the fuzzy side, and that's what I was talking about. But we do have the kits available for you. We do have the 3-inch and the 2.5 inch and the blue and the black, just to make it simple for you this holiday season. And that is how we do our twice melted circular Christmas ornaments. If you have any questions about these at all, please email me at art@miriamjoy.com. Jump over and just see all the wonderful YouTube videos we're doing for you this holiday season. Merry Christmas and God bless.